name is Maria. I live in a small village in Brazil. My family is very poor. We don't have much money, but we have big dreams. I always wanted to go to London. I heard many stories about how wonderful it is, with many opportunities and a chance to learn English. One day, a man came to our village. He was an agent, and he said he could help people go to London. He told me that I could get a job there and make good money. He said I could also learn English and have a better life. I was very excited and talked to my parents about it. My parents were worried because we didn't have much money. But they wanted a better future for me. We saved every penny we could. My father worked extra hours at the farm, and my mother sold homemade bread and cakes. After many months, we finally had enough money to pay the agent. The agent promised everything would be fine. He gave me a plane ticket and told me someone would meet me at the airport in London. He said they would help me find a job and a place to stay. I was nervous but also very hopeful. I said goodbye to my family and friends and got on the plane. The flight was long, and I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about my new life in London. When the plane landed, I looked around the airport, hoping to see someone holding a sign with my name on it. But there was no one. I waited for a long time, but no one came. I felt scared and alone. I didn't know what to do. I didn't speak much English, and I had no one to help me. I walked around the airport, trying to ask people for help, but they didn't understand me. Finally, I found a kind woman who spoke a little Portuguese. She helped me find a cheap hostel to stay in. The next day, I tried to contact the agent, but his phone was off. I realized he had lied to me. There was no job waiting for me, and no one was there to teach me English. I felt so sad and lost. But I knew I couldn't give up. I had to find a way to survive. I walked around the city, looking for work. It was very difficult because I didn't speak English. After many days of searching, I found a small restaurant. The owner didn't need someone to speak English, he needed someone to wash dishes. He gave me a job, and I was very grateful. The work was hard, and the pay was very low. But it was better than nothing. I worked long hours, washing dishes and cleaning tables. The other workers were nice to me, but we couldn't talk much because of the language barrier. I felt very lonely. At night, I tried to learn English. I bought a small book and a dictionary. I practiced every day, trying to understand and speak better. It was very hard, but I didn't give up. I knew that if I wanted a better life, I had to learn the language. My life in London was not what I had imagined. It was full of struggles and challenges. But I was determined to make it work. I missed my family and my home, but I kept going. I knew that one day, things would get better. Life in London was tough, but I refused to give up. Every day, after my long shifts at the restaurant, I dedicated time to learning English. I knew that improving my language skills was crucial for finding better opportunities and making my life easier in this big city. I bought a small English textbook and a dictionary with the little money I had left. Every night, I sat in my tiny room and studied. I started with simple words and phrases. I practiced reading, writing, and speaking. It was very difficult at first, but I was determined. One day, while working at the restaurant, I noticed a flyer on the bulletin board. It was for free English classes at a local community center. I was thrilled and decided to go there after work. The classes were held 3 times a week in the evenings. The community center was a warm and welcoming place. The teacher, Miss Emily, was very kind and patient. She understood that many of us came from different countries and spoke little English. She used simple words and gestures to help us understand. I made new friends from different parts of the world who were also trying to learn English and build a better life. Miss Emily encouraged us to practice speaking with each other. We played games, read stories, and had conversations in English. Slowly, I started to feel more confident. I could understand more and speak better. The classes were not only helping me learn the language, but they also gave me hope and a sense of community. I also practiced English at the restaurant. I listened carefully to the customers and tried to understand what they were saying. Sometimes, I would ask my coworkers to teach me new words and phrases. They were happy to help, and they appreciated my efforts to learn their language. In addition to the classes and practice at work, I watched English TV shows and listened to English songs. It was a fun way to learn new words and improve my listening skills. I also started reading simple books in English. It was challenging, but each day I understood a little more. Months passed, and my English improved significantly. I could have simple conversations with the customers at the restaurant. I was able to understand more instructions and follow them without much trouble. My coworkers noticed my progress and encouraged me to keep going. One evening, Miss Emily called me aside after class. She smiled and said, "Maria, you have made incredible progress. You are one of my best students. I believe you are ready for something more." She gave me information about a job opening at a nearby cafe. The job was as a server, and it required better English skills than my current job. I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Was I really ready for this? With Miss Emily's encouragement and my new friend's support, I decided to apply for the job. I prepared carefully for the interview, practicing my English and learning about the cafe. When the day of the interview came, I was very nervous, but I reminded myself of how far I had come. The manager at the cafe, Mr. Brown, was impressed with my determination and the effort I had put into learning English. He offered me the job. I was overjoyed. This was a big step forward for me. The pay was better, and the work was more interesting. Working at the cafe was challenging but rewarding. I met many people and practiced my English every day. The customers were friendly, and I enjoyed talking with them. My life in London was still full of challenges, but I was making progress. I was proud of myself for not giving up and for working hard to achieve my dreams. Working at the cafe was a big step forward for me. I was learning more every day, and my English was improving. One of my coworkers, Jack, became a good friend. He was a friendly and outgoing guy who always had a smile on his face. He noticed that I was still struggling with my English and offered to help me. "Maria, you're doing great," Jack said one day. But if you want, I can help you practice your English. We can talk during our breaks and after work." I was very grateful for his offer. Jack was a native English speaker, and I knew that practicing with him would help me a lot. We started spending our breaks together, chatting about different things. He was very patient and corrected my mistakes gently. Jack taught me new words and phrases. He explained things I didn't understand and helped me with my pronunciation. He even brought a small notebook and wrote down useful expressions for me to practice. We would go over them together, and I repeated them until I felt more confident. One day, Jack suggested we watch English movies together. "It's a fun way to learn," he said. "You'll get to hear how native speakers talk, and it will improve your listening skills." We started having movie nights after work. Jack picked movies with clear dialogues and subtitles so I could follow along. We watched comedies, dramas, and even some cartoons. After each movie, we discussed it, and Jack helped me understand any difficult parts. Our friendship grew stronger. Jack was not just a teacher to me but also a great friend. He made me laugh and encouraged me when I felt down. He believed in me, and that gave me the strength to keep going. One afternoon, Jack introduced me to his friends. They were all very nice and welcomed me warmly. We went out for coffee, and I practiced speaking English with them. They knew I was learning, so they spoke slowly and clearly. It was a wonderful experience, and I felt more confident with each conversation. Jack also helped me with my work at the cafe. He taught me how to take orders more efficiently and interact better with customers. He showed me how to make different types of coffee and handle the cash register. I felt more competent and comfortable in my job because of his support. One day, a customer left a compliment for me. "Maria is such a lovely server," they said. "Her English is getting so much better, and she's always so friendly." Hearing that made me very happy. I realized how much I had improved since I first arrived in London. Jack's help was invaluable, and I was very grateful to him. As time passed, I continued to learn and grow. My friendship with Jack and his friends gave me a sense of belonging. I felt more at home in London, and my confidence increased. I knew that my hard work and dedication were paying off. I started thinking about my future and the possibilities that lay ahead. I dreamed of getting a better job, maybe even going back to school. With Jack's help and my determination, I knew that I could achieve my goals. My life in London was becoming brighter, and I was excited about what the future would bring. With Jack's help, my English improved steadily. I felt more confident at work and in my daily life. One day, Jack told me about an online English course that was free and very helpful. "You can take it in your free time," he said. "It has lessons on grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation." I decided to give it a try. After work, I logged into the course and started learning. The lessons were well organized and easy to follow. There were videos, quizzes, and interactive exercises. I found it very useful and started making it a part of my daily routine. Jack continued to help me with my studies. He explained difficult concepts and practiced speaking with me. He even set up weekly goals for us to achieve. "This week, let's focus on improving your pronunciation," he said. "Next week, we can work on expanding your vocabulary." One evening, after a long day at the cafe, Jack and I went to a nearby park. We sat on a bench, and he handed me a book. "It's a simple English novel," he said. "Reading it will help you improve your language skills." I started reading the book, and whenever I came across a word or phrase I didn't understand, Jack explained it to me. We discussed the story, and I tried to express my thoughts in English. It was challenging but also very rewarding. As weeks turned into months, my English became much better. I could hold longer conversations and understand more complex sentences. I even started dreaming in English sometimes, which felt strange but exciting. One day, the cafe manager, Mr. Brown, called me into his office. I was nervous, wondering if I had done something wrong. But to my surprise, he smiled and said, "Maria, I've noticed how much your English has improved. You're doing an excellent job here. I want to offer you a promotion to a more responsible position." I was overjoyed. The new position came with a better salary and more duties. I would be helping to manage the cafe, taking on some administrative tasks, and training new staff. I thanked Mr. Brown for the opportunity and promised to do my best. When I told Jack about the promotion, he was thrilled for me. "I knew you could do it, Maria," he said. "You've worked so hard, and you deserve this." My new role at the cafe was challenging, but I enjoyed it. I felt proud of my progress and excited about the future. Jack and I continued to study together, and he introduced me to new learning resources. He showed me how to use language learning apps and online forums where I could practice with native speakers. One day, while browsing the internet, I found an advertisement for a part-time evening class at a local college. The class was designed to help people improve their English for professional purposes. I decided to enroll in the class to continue advancing my skills. The evening class was another step forward. The teacher, Mr. Thompson, was very experienced and supportive. He gave us practical exercises and assignments that helped us improve our English in real-life situations. We practiced writing emails, making presentations, and having professional conversations. I made new friends in the class who were also working hard to improve their English. We supported each other and shared our experiences. It was a wonderful community, and I felt very motivated. My life in London was transforming. From a scared girl who couldn't speak the language, I had become a confident woman with a promising future. I was grateful to Jack, my friends, and everyone who had helped me along the way. I knew there would still be challenges ahead, but I was ready to face them. I realized that my journey was not just about learning a new language but also about discovering my own strength and resilience. I had come a long way from my small village in Brazil, and I was excited to see where my journey would take me next. With my English skills significantly improved, I felt ready to take on new challenges. Jack and I often talked about my future and what steps I could take to advance my career. One day, he told me about a job opening at a well-known company in London. "Maria, this could be a great opportunity for you," he said. "They are looking for someone who speaks multiple languages and has experience in customer service. You should apply." I was excited but also a little nervous. "Do you really think I'm ready for this?" I asked. "Absolutely," Jack replied with confidence. "You've worked so hard and come so far. I'll help you prepare for the application and the interview." We spent the next few days updating my resume and writing a cover letter. Jack helped me highlight my skills and experiences, making sure my English was perfect. We also practiced common interview questions and answers. Jack played the role of the interviewer, and I practiced responding confidently. Finally, I felt ready to apply. I sent my resume and cover letter to the company and waited anxiously for a response. A week later, I received an email inviting me for an interview. I was thrilled. The day of the interview arrived, and Jack wished me good luck. "Just be yourself, Maria," he said. "You've got this." I arrived at the company's office, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. The receptionist greeted me warmly and asked me to wait in the lobby. After a few minutes, a friendly-looking woman called me into her office. Her name was Ms. Roberts, and she was the hiring manager. The interview started, and I took a deep breath. Ms. Roberts asked me about my previous work experience, my language skills, and how I handle different situations. I answered her questions confidently, remembering all the practice sessions with Jack. I talked about my journey from Brazil, my work at the cafe, and how I learned English. Ms. Roberts seemed impressed. "You have a remarkable story, Maria," she said. "It shows that you're determined and hardworking. These are qualities we value here." After the interview, Ms. Roberts gave me a tour of the office. I saw people working at their desks, chatting in the break room, and collaborating on projects. The environment was professional yet friendly. I could imagine myself working there. A few days later, I received a phone call from Ms. Roberts. "Congratulations, Maria," she said. "We would like to offer you the job. When can you start?" I was overjoyed and thanked her for the opportunity. I called Jack immediately to share the good news. "I got the job," I exclaimed. "That's amazing, Maria." Jack replied, "I knew you could do it. We should celebrate." We decided to go out for dinner to celebrate my new job. It was a small, cozy restaurant with delicious food. We talked about our plans and dreams. I felt a sense of accomplishment and excitement for the future. Starting the new job was an exciting challenge. I was working in a big office, handling customer inquiries from all over the world. My multilingual skills were a great asset, and I enjoyed helping people solve their problems. My colleagues were kind and supportive, and I quickly made new friends. Jack and I continued to stay close. He was proud of my achievements and always encouraged me to aim higher. I enrolled in a professional development course to further improve my skills and expand my knowledge. Life in London was becoming everything I had hoped for and more. Reflecting on my journey, I realized how far I had come since arriving in London. From a frightened girl who barely spoke English to a confident professional with a bright future, my hard work and determination had paid off. I knew there would still be challenges ahead, but I was ready to face them with courage and optimism. After settling into my new job, I thought a lot about my family back in Brazil. They had supported me every step of the way, and I wanted to share my success and new life in London with them. I decided it was time to invite my parents to visit me. I called my parents one evening. My mother answered the phone, and I could hear the excitement in her voice. "Maria, how are you, my dear?" "I'm doing well, Mom," I replied. "I have some great news. I got a new job at a big company here in London. And I want to invite you and Dad to come visit me." There was a brief silence before my mother spoke again, her voice filled with emotion. "That's wonderful news, Maria. Your father and I would love to visit you. We've missed you so much." We made plans for their visit. I sent them the tickets and helped them prepare for the trip. My parents had never traveled outside of Brazil before, so they were both excited and nervous. I assured them that everything would be fine and that I would be there to guide them. The day finally arrived. I went to the airport to pick up my parents. As I waited in the arrival area, I felt a mix of excitement and anticipation. When I saw them coming through the gate, I ran to them and hugged them tightly. It was a moment filled with joy and love. "Welcome to London," I said, smiling widely. My father looked around, taking in the bustling airport. "It's amazing to be here, Maria. We've missed you so much." We took a taxi to my apartment. My parents were amazed at everything they saw along the way: the tall buildings, the busy streets, and the diverse people. When we reached my apartment, I showed them around. It was a small but cozy place, and they were happy to see that I was living comfortably. Over the next few days, I took them to some of my favorite places in the city. We visited parks, enjoyed meals at lovely restaurants, and went shopping. My parents were fascinated by everything, and it made me happy to see them so pleased. One evening, we had dinner with Jack. I wanted my parents to meet the person who had helped me so much. Jack was very friendly and made my parents feel at ease. We shared stories and laughed a lot. My parents thanked Jack for all his support and kindness. "Maria is like family to me," Jack said warmly. "I'm glad I could help her. She's an amazing person, and I'm proud of her." During their visit, my parents also came to see my workplace. They met some of my colleagues and saw where I worked. They were proud of my achievements and happy to see that I was doing well. One afternoon, as we sat in a park, my father turned to me and said, "Maria, we are so proud of you. You have worked so hard and achieved so much. It makes us happy to see you living your dream." I felt tears of joy welling up in my eyes. "Thank you, Dad. I couldn't have done it without your support and love. I'm so glad you're here with me." Their visit was filled with wonderful moments and deep conversations. My parents saw how much I had grown and how well I had adapted to life in London. They were reassured that I was in a good place and surrounded by caring people. When it was time for them to go back to Brazil, it was hard to say goodbye. But I knew it was not a permanent farewell. We promised to stay in touch regularly and visit each other whenever possible. I felt a renewed sense of determination to continue making them proud. After my parents left, I returned to my routine with a heart full of love and gratitude. Their visit had strengthened my resolve to keep striving for success and happiness in my new home. I was more motivated than ever to embrace the opportunities ahead and build a bright future for myself. After my parents returned to Brazil, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. Their visit had reminded me of how far I had come and how much more I could achieve. I threw myself into my work with even greater enthusiasm and continued to improve my English skills and professional abilities. One day, Jack approached me with an exciting proposition. "Maria, I've been thinking," he said. "There's a position opening up in the marketing department at my company. I think you would be perfect for it." I was surprised and intrigued. "Marketing? That sounds interesting, but I don't have any experience in that field." Jack smiled. "You're a fast learner, Maria. And your communication skills are excellent now. Plus, I can help you prepare for it. What do you think?" I considered his offer. It was a big step, but I felt ready for a new challenge. "All right, Jack. I'll give it a try." Jack helped me prepare for the application process. We worked on my resume, highlighting my skills and experiences that were relevant to marketing. He also gave me insights into what the job would entail and what the hiring manager would be looking for. We practiced potential interview questions and role-played different scenarios. Jack's support and guidance gave me the confidence I needed. When I submitted my application, I felt well prepared. A week later, I received an email inviting me for an interview. I was thrilled but also a little nervous. On the day of the interview, Jack wished me luck and reminded me to stay calm and be myself. The interview was with Ms. Henderson, the head of the marketing department. She was a sharp and insightful woman who asked me about my experiences, skills, and why I was interested in marketing. I explained how my customer service background had given me strong communication skills and an understanding of customer needs. Ms. Henderson seemed impressed. "You have a unique background, Maria," she said. "I appreciate your perspective and your determination to learn. We'll be in touch soon." A few days later, I got the call. I was offered the job. I couldn't believe it. I thanked Ms. Henderson for the opportunity and immediately called Jack to share the good news. "Congratulations, Maria," Jack exclaimed. "I knew you could do it. This is a great step forward for you." Starting my new job in the marketing department was both exciting and challenging. I had to learn many new things quickly, but I was determined to succeed. My colleagues were helpful and supportive, and I found the work fascinating. Jack and I continued to meet regularly. He helped me understand the nuances of marketing and shared valuable tips and strategies. We often brainstormed ideas together, and his insights were incredibly helpful. One evening, Jack suggested we attend a professional networking event. "It's a great way to meet new people in the industry and learn from them," he said. I agreed, and we went to the event together. It was a large gathering of professionals from various fields, all eager to share their experiences and knowledge. I was nervous at first, but Jack introduced me to several people and helped me start conversations. I met many interesting individuals who shared their journeys and offered advice. I also exchanged contact information with a few of them, which would be useful for future networking. As I settled into my new role, I found myself enjoying the work more and more. I loved coming up with creative ideas, analyzing market trends, and working with my team to develop successful campaigns. My English continued to improve, and I felt more confident in both my professional and personal life. Reflecting on my journey, I realized how much I had grown. From a girl who could barely speak English, I had become a confident professional in a new field. My hard work and determination, along with the support of wonderful friends like Jack, had made this possible. I knew there would still be challenges ahead, but I felt ready to face them. I was excited about my future in London and the endless possibilities it held. My dreams were becoming a reality, one step at a time. As Jack and I continued to work closely together, our friendship deepened. We shared not only professional goals but also personal dreams and aspirations. We laughed together, supported each other through challenges, and celebrated each other's successes. One evening, after a long day at work, Jack asked if we could meet for dinner. "I have something important to talk to you about," he said. Curious, I agreed, and we met at a cozy restaurant in the city. Over dinner, Jack seemed nervous, fidgeting with his napkin and avoiding eye contact. "Maria," he began, his voice slightly shaky. "I've known you for a long time now, and, well, I've realized something. I've realized that I care about you, more than just as a friend." I felt my heart skip a beat as I listened to him. Was he saying what I thought he was saying? Jack took a deep breath and continued. "Maria, I love you. I love everything about you, your strength, your determination, your kindness. You've changed my life in so many ways, and I can't imagine my future without you in it." I was speechless, overwhelmed by his confession. I had always valued our friendship and admired him deeply, but I had never dared to imagine that he felt the same way about me. "Jack, I struggled to find the right words. I don't know what to say." He reached across the table and took my hand. "Maria, I understand if you need time to think about it. But I want you to know that I mean every word. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, if you'll have me." Tears welled up in my eyes as I looked into his earnest gaze. In that moment, I knew what my answer was. "Jack, I love you too," I said softly. "I have loved you for a long time, and I can't imagine my life without you either." His face broke into a radiant smile, and he squeezed my hand tightly. "Maria, will you marry me?" Without hesitation, I nodded, tears of joy streaming down my cheeks. "Yes, Jack. Yes, I will marry you." The rest of the evening passed in a blur of happiness and excitement. We talked about our future together, our hopes and dreams intertwining. I felt a sense of warmth and contentment wash over me, knowing that I had found my soulmate in Jack. As we walked home hand in hand, I couldn't stop smiling. Life had thrown us many challenges, but it had also brought us together in the most beautiful way possible. I was grateful for every moment we had shared and eager to start this new chapter of our lives together. Jack and I began planning our wedding, filled with excitement and anticipation. We wanted to celebrate our love with our friends and family, surrounded by joy and laughter. As we embarked on this journey together, I knew that no matter what the future held, we would face it hand in hand, with love as our guide. And I couldn't wait to see where life would take us next. The months leading up to our wedding were filled with excitement and preparation. Jack and I planned every detail together, wanting our special day to reflect our journey and love story. We decided on a small, intimate ceremony with close friends and family. We sent invitations to my parents and Jack's family. My parents were thrilled to hear the news and eagerly prepared for another trip to London. Jack's family was equally excited, welcoming me with open arms and making me feel like a part of their family. The day of the wedding arrived, and it was a beautiful, sunny day in London. The ceremony was held in a charming garden, decorated with flowers and fairy lights. As I walked down the aisle, I saw Jack standing there, his eyes filled with love and joy. My heart swelled with happiness. My parents were in the front row, their faces beaming with pride. I could see the tears in my mother's eyes and the wide smile on my father's face. It meant the world to me to have them there, witnessing this momentous occasion. When I reached Jack, he took my hand, and we stood together, ready to exchange our vows. The officiant began the ceremony, and Jack looked into my eyes as he spoke his vows. "Maria, you have brought so much joy and love into my life. I promise to support you, cherish you, and stand by your side through all of life's adventures. I love you more than words can express, and I am honored to be your husband." Tears streamed down my face as I listened to his heartfelt words. Then it was my turn. I took a deep breath and began my vows. "Jack, you have been my rock, my friend, and my greatest supporter. I promise to love you, encourage you, and walk with you through all of life's challenges. I am so grateful to have you as my partner, and I look forward to our future together." With that, we exchanged rings, symbolizing our eternal love and commitment to each other. The officiant pronounced us husband and wife, and we shared our first kiss as a married couple. The garden erupted in applause and cheers from our loved ones. The reception that followed was filled with laughter, dancing, and heartfelt speeches. My father gave a touching speech about my journey from Brazil to London, expressing how proud he was of me. Jack's parents welcomed me into their family with open hearts, and our friends shared stories of our time together. Jack and I danced our first dance as a married couple, swaying to a song that held special meaning for us. It was a moment of pure joy and love, surrounded by the people who mattered most to us. As the evening came to an end, Jack and I looked around at our friends and family, feeling an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Our journey had been filled with challenges and triumphs, and we had come out stronger and closer because of it. In the days that followed, we settled into our new life as a married couple. We continued to support each other's dreams and ambitions, knowing that we were in this journey together. I felt a sense of peace and happiness, knowing that I had found my home with Jack. Reflecting on my journey from a small village in Brazil to my new life in London, I felt a deep sense of pride and accomplishment. I had overcome countless obstacles, learned a new language, and built a successful career. Most importantly, I had found love and created a beautiful life with Jack. Our story was a testament to the power of determination, love, and support. No matter where life took us, I knew that we would face it together, hand in hand. And as we looked towards the future, I felt excited and hopeful for all the adventures that lay ahead. This was just the beginning of our journey, and I couldn't wait to see what the future held for us. Together, we were ready to embrace whatever came our way, with love as our guiding light.